Have you ever felt trapped in the grips of fear, paralyzed by the unknown future that looms ahead? Imagine if the key to unlocking your potential was hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to discover it. You're not alone. Many of us have stared into the abyss of uncertainty, wondering if there's a way out. What if I told you that there's a surprising, little-known method to confront these fears and transform them into stepping stones for success? Stay with me as we embark on a journey of self-discovery, uncovering secrets that will empower you to face life's uncertainties head-on. Fear of the unknown. It's the silent killer of dreams. That job you're too scared to quit, even though it drains your soul. The love you're too afraid to confess, even though it sets your heart on fire. The life you're too terrified to live, even though it calls to you every single day. Fear whispers, what if you fail? What if everything goes wrong? And so you stay stuck, paralyzed by the what ifs, watching life pass you by. But what if you could silence that voice? What if you could turn fear into fuel, a force that propels you forward instead of holding you back? Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, not frozen in terror, but exhilarated by the possibilities. Imagine looking into the fog of uncertainty and seeing not danger, but opportunity. Today, we're unlocking the 2,000-year-old Stoic secrets to conquering fear of the unknown. These principles have guided emperors like Marcus Aurelius, who ruled Rome during plagues and wars. They've inspired astronauts like Chris Hadfield, who faced the vast unknown of space. And they've empowered everyday people like you and me to take bold leaps, whether it's starting a business, ending a toxic relationship, or simply saying yes to life. By the end of this video, you'll have 3 actionable tools to face the unknown with unshakable courage. These aren't quick fixes or empty platitudes. They're time-tested strategies that will help you reframe fear, embrace uncertainty, and take bold action, even when your knees are shaking. So, if you're ready to stop letting fear dictate your life and start living with purpose and passion, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, if you're new here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more life-changing insights. Let's get started. Why fear paralyzes us. Fear of the unknown isn't a flaw. It's biology, hardwired into our DNA through millennia of evolution. Our brains evolved to prioritize survival, not happiness. Thousands of years ago, fear kept us alive by sharpening our senses to detect predators, natural disasters, or rival tribes. The amygdala, our brain's alarm system, would trigger a fight or flight response, flooding the body with adrenaline to help us escape immediate danger. This mechanism worked perfectly in a world where threats were tangible: a rustle in the bushes, a sudden storm, or the growl of a wild animal. But in the modern world, this primal instinct backfires. Instead of lions and thunderstorms, our triggers are abstract and often imaginary. What if I fail this interview? What if my partner leaves me? What if I never achieve my dreams? Our brains struggle to distinguish between life-threatening dangers and hypothetical scenarios, treating a critical email with the same urgency as a charging bear. The result? Chronic stress, anxiety, and a mind trapped in a loop of worst-case what-ifs. Think about it. How often do you avoid risks because you're terrified of failure? How many opportunities have you missed because the unknown felt like free falling? Maybe you've stayed in a job that drains your spirit, fearing the uncertainty of a career change. Or perhaps you've held back from confessing your feelings, terrified of rejection. The cost of this paralysis isn't just missed opportunities, it's regret. Stagnation. A life half-lived, where safety becomes a cage and someday never comes. But here's the good news: fear isn't your enemy. It's a signal, a call to grow. Just as pain alerts us to physical harm, fear highlights areas where we need courage, clarity, or preparation. The problem isn't fear itself, it's how we respond to it. This is where Stoicism, a 2,000-year-old philosophy practiced by emperors and astronauts alike, offers timeless tools to reframe fear. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius taught that fear stems not from external events, but from our judgments about them. You have power over your mind, not outside events, wrote Marcus Aurelius. By focusing on what we can control, our actions, attitudes, and efforts, we disarm the paralyzing power of the unknown. Stoicism doesn't ask you to eliminate fear. It asks you to use it. When fear whispers, "What if I fail?" Stoicism replies, "What if you learn?" When anxiety shouts, "You're not ready," Stoicism counters, "Readiness is forged in action, not waiting." Through practices like premeditatio malorum, mentally rehearsing challenges and a dichotomy of control separating what's yours to influence from what isn't, you'll transform fear from a prison into a compass, one that guides you toward growth, resilience, and a life fully lived. The unknown will always feel daunting. But with Stoicism, you won't face it alone. You'll carry the wisdom of philosophers, the courage of pioneers, and the quiet confidence of knowing that you are stronger than your fears. The Stoic Toolkit: 3 principles to disarm fear. Stoicism arms you with 3 mental tools to dismantle fear. Let's break them down. Tool 1: the control circle. Stoic philosopher Epictetus, born into slavery and later becoming one of history's most influential thinkers, once said, "Happiness begins by knowing what is yours to control." This simple yet profound idea is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, and your key to dismantling fear. Your task? Draw your control circle, a mental boundary separating what's within your power from what isn't. Start by writing down your fears. Is it a looming job interview? A strained relationship? The uncertainty of a new venture? Next, ask yourself, is this within my power? If the answer is no, let it go. Pour your energy into the inner circle, your actions, your mindset, and your effort. The outer circle, outcomes, others' opinions, luck, isn't yours to command. Trying to control it is like shouting at the wind, it exhausts you and changes nothing. For example, if you're terrified of public speaking, you can't control how the audience reacts. Will they yawn, nod, or check their phones? That's their domain. But you can control your preparation, rehearsing your speech, refining your slides, and practicing deep breathing to steady your nerves. You can control your mindset, reframing anxiety as excitement, viewing the stage as a chance to connect, not perform. Or consider a job search. You can't force an employer to hire you, but you can tailor your resume, research the company, and send follow-up emails. You can't control a partner's feelings, but you can communicate openly, listen actively, and show up with integrity. The magic of the control circle lies in its clarity. By releasing the illusion of control over externals, you reclaim agency over your inner world. Anxiety shrinks. Productivity soars. And slowly, fear transforms into focus. Epictetus' wisdom isn't just philosophy, it's a survival toolkit for modern life. When chaos swirls around you, return to your circle. Master it. Let the rest fade into noise. That's how you build unshakable peace in an unpredictable world. John had built his tech startup from the ground up, a sleek app designed to simplify remote teamwork. For years, business thrived. Clients praised its intuitive design, and investors lined up. But when the market crashed, coupled with a rival's aggressive pricing strategy, John's world unraveled. Revenue plummeted. Layoffs gutted his team. At 3 a.m., staring at bankruptcy filings, he faced a choice: surrender or reinvent. Embracing Stoic principles, John shifted focus to what he could control. He couldn't reverse the economy or outspend competitors, but he could refine his work ethic. He spent nights studying user feedback, identifying a glaring need. Hybrid workplaces struggled with project transparency. Channeling creativity, he redesigned the app's core interface, adding real-time collaboration dashboards. He taught himself coding to cut costs, traded office space for coffee shop Wi-Fi, and renegotiated vendor contracts. Months later, at a virtual tech summit, John unveiled the relaunch. His demo highlighted features competitors lacked: AI-driven task prioritization, mood-based productivity trackers, all born from user pain points. Investors were skeptical until early adopters raved about the updates. A venture capitalist, impressed by John's grit, offered seed funding. Within a year, his user base tripled. John's comeback wasn't luck. It was Stoicism in action, mastering the inner circle, effort, adaptability, purpose, while releasing the rest. Today, his story reminds entrepreneurs that collapse isn't an endpoint. It's the forge where resilience, not fear, reshapes destiny. Tool 2, Premeditatio Malorum. Stoics didn't ignore fear, they prepared for it. This practice, known as premeditatio malorum, Latin for premeditation of evils, wasn't about pessimism or catastrophizing. It was a strategic exercise to disarm anxiety by confronting it head-on. Ancient Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius would mentally rehearse challenges, loss, failure, even death, not to wallow in dread, but to strip fear of its power. By visualizing the worst-case scenario, they discovered something revolutionary: the mind survives what it rehearses. Take astronaut Chris Hadfield, who famously trained for every possible disaster before his spacewalks. He'd simulate oxygen tank failures, equipment malfunctions, and even the visceral terror of floating untethered into the void. By rehearsing these nightmares, he rewired his brain to respond with calm precision instead of panic. When a real-life spacesuit malfunction left him temporarily blinded during a spacewalk, he didn't freeze, he relied on muscle memory and problem solving. That's the power of premeditatio malorum. It turns hypothetical fears into manageable puzzles. Here's how to apply this today. Start by asking, what's the worst that could happen? How would I adapt? Let's say you're terrified of losing your job. Visualize it: the exit meeting, the financial strain, the identity crisis. Then, mentally walk through your response. Update your resume. Network. Explore side hustles. By mapping your comeback, you transform a nebulous fear into a concrete plan. Try this daily exercise. Spend 5 minutes imagining your worst-case scenario. Write down one actionable step you'd take to recover. For example, fear: my business might fail. Step: I'll save 3 months of emergency funds and learn a new skill to pivot. This isn't about manifesting disaster, it's about inoculating yourself against paralysis. Over time, you'll notice fear's grip loosening. Why? Because uncertainty thrives in the unexamined mind. By dissecting your fears, you expose them as challenges, not monsters. Stoicism teaches us that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. So, the next time anxiety whispers, "What if it all goes wrong?" reply with, "I've already seen it. And I know how to rise." Tool 3, Amor Fati. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled amidst wars, plagues, and personal tragedies, penned a timeless truth in his private journal: the obstacle becomes the path. This idea crystallizes the essence of amor fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate. Amor fati isn't a passive resignation. It's an active embrace of everything life offers: the setbacks, the surprises, even the suffering, because every twist sharpens your resilience and reshapes your destiny. Consider the dancer who loses a leg but discovers a new artistry in prosthetic movement, her performances radiating grace that transcends physical limits. Or the farmer planting seeds in drought-scorched soil, not cursing the barren land, but adapting crops to thrive in harsh conditions. These aren't stories of luck, they're testaments to the Stoic belief that obstacles are raw materials for reinvention. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle becomes the path." Amor fati means loving whatever life throws at you, even pain. Because every twist shapes your strength. When the pandemic wiped out Philip's restaurant, he didn't fight it. He pivoted to food trucks, and tripled his income. That's amor fati. Philip converted his kitchen into a meal prep hub, launched a fleet of themed food trucks, burgers and resilience, anyone? And partnered with local farms to cut costs. Losing the restaurant felt like a death, he later shared. But it forced me to innovate. Now I'm freer, more creative, and connected to my community. Practice this. Each night, write down one challenge you faced and one lesson it taught you. Over time, you'll see obstacles as opportunities. To cultivate amor fati, practice this nightly ritual. Write down one challenge you faced and one lesson it taught you. For example, challenge, missed a promotion. Lesson, I honed my negotiation skills and networked outside my department. Over time, this reframes adversity as a teacher. Neuroscience backs this. Reflective journaling strengthens neural pathways linked to problem solving and emotional regulation. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about amor fati from a life of ease, he wrote it on battlefields and sickbeds. His words remind us, the path to peace isn't around obstacles, but through them. Fall in love with the journey, storms and all, and you'll never lose your way. The breakthrough, when fear meets action. Stoicism isn't about deleting fear, it's about acting despite it. The ancient Stoics didn't preach fearlessness, they preached resilience. Fear, they argued, is natural. It's a survival mechanism, a relic of our primal instincts. But in a world where saber-toothed tigers no longer stalk us, fear often misfires, paralyzing us over imagined catastrophes, rejection, failure, or embarrassment. The Stoic solution? Action. Not grand, sweeping gestures, but small, deliberate steps that rewire your relationship with fear. Start small. Terrified of public speaking? Don't aim for a TED Talk, start by speaking to a mirror, then to a trusted friend, then to a tiny online audience. Fearful of rejection? Don't leap into a high-stakes proposal. Ask for one tiny no first, pitch a wild idea at work, request a discount at a store, or strike up a conversation with a stranger. Each no dulls fear's edge. Each yes builds momentum. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, famously said, "Courage is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets." Stoicism gives you the weights to train that muscle. Practices like premeditatio malorum, mentally rehearsing worst-case scenarios, or negative visualization reflecting on impermanence aren't morbid, they're mental gyms. By confronting fears in your mind, you build emotional calluses. By embracing discomfort, you expand your tolerance for uncertainty. Take the story of Joseph, a former teacher who froze at the idea of career change. Using Stoic principles, he broke his leap into micro-actions, updating his LinkedIn profile, then attending one networking event, then freelancing part-time. Each step felt terrifying, but manageable. Today, he runs a thriving education consultancy. Stoicism teaches that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. The first-century philosopher Epictetus, born into slavery, put it bluntly, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your fears may never vanish. But with Stoicism, you'll learn to dance with them, to move forward even when your hands shake, your voice quivers, or your heart races. So, what's your mirror moment? What tiny action can you take today to stretch your courage muscle? Share your answer in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're choosing bravery over fear. Your story could inspire someone else to take their first step. The path to fearlessness isn't a sprint, it's a daily practice. Every step, no matter how small, is a victory. Let's build a community of courage together. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, and let's keep growing stronger, one bold choice at a time. Embracing the unknown, your invitation. The unknown isn't a threat, it's life's playground. Think of history's greatest innovators, explorers, and visionaries. They didn't wait for certainty. They leaned into the fog. Every risk holds a lesson. Every failure is data. Every step into the unknown? That's where legends are born. The Stoics called this amor fati, falling in love with fate, even when it feels like a storm. Seneca, the philosopher-statesman, put it best, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The unknown isn't chaos, it's raw material for reinvention. To thrive in uncertainty, follow this Stoic action plan. 1. Daily control circle. Start each morning by writing your fears. Draw 2 rings, an inner circle labeled my actions and an outer ring labeled let go. For example, if you fear a layoff, focus on upskilling inner circle and release anxiety over company decisions outer ring. This ritual trains your brain to invest energy where it matters. 2. Weekly rehearsal. Every Sunday, spend 5 minutes rehearsing a worst-case scenario. Imagine losing a client, facing criticism, or missing a deadline. Then, jot down one practical step to recover. Athletes use this tactic. Olympic swimmers visualize stalled goggles before races. By pre-solving problems, fear loses its fangs. 3. Monthly amor fati. At month's end, reflect on a challenge that tested you. Write a letter thanking it. Did a failed project teach resilience? Did rejection spark creativity? Maria, a startup founder, credits her bankruptcy for teaching frugality, a skill that later saved her business. The unknown is your canvas. The tools? Courage, curiosity, and stoic grit. Now, step into the fog, your legacy awaits. Conclusion: the path to fearless living. Fear of the unknown never vanishes. It lingers like a shadow, whispering doubts before a job interview, a first date, or a leap into the unfamiliar. But Stoicism teaches us a radical truth: fear isn't a stop sign, it's a dance partner. The goal isn't to outrun uncertainty, but to move with it, step by step, until anxiety becomes rhythm and chaos becomes choreography. Imagine 2 paths. The first is safe, predictable, and stagnant, a life of what-ifs and muted dreams. The second is uncharted, messy, and electrifying. It's the path of the entrepreneur who launches a business amid recession, the artist who paints through self-doubt, or the parent who embraces vulnerability to connect deeper with their child. This path isn't about winning, it's about living. Stoicism equips you for this dance. Tools like premeditatio malorum, rehearsing challenges, and amor fati, loving your fate, transform fear into fuel. Take Marcus Aurelius, who ruled Rome during plagues and wars. His journals reveal no denial of fear, only relentless focus on what he could control: his duty, his integrity, his response. Here's the secret: courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that your growth matters more than your comfort. Start small. Afraid of failure? Write down 3 lessons it could teach you. Terrified of rejection? Seek one no this week, ask for a raise, a favor, or feedback. Each act of bravery, however tiny, rewires your brain to see uncertainty as an ally. So, what path will you choose? The safe one? Or the one that sets your soul on fire? The Stoics didn't promise ease, they promised freedom. Freedom to stumble, learn, and rise. Freedom to dance in the storm. The music's playing. Will you step onto the floor? If this video resonated with you, subscribe to my channel and join a community committed to turning fear into fuel. Where we dive deeper into Stoic wisdom, exploring how to build resilience, master your mindset, and thrive in uncertainty. Hit the like button if you're ready to dance with the unknown, and share this with someone who needs a courage boost today. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a step on your journey to fearless living. Your growth matters, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. Remember, we're all in this together. See you in the next video.